Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Down. I finally got to see Dune Part 2 in the 40X movie theater experience. But is it worth it in this format? Before I get started, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment on this video, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any 40X content coming from me in the future. And also, I did do an actual movie review for Dune Part 2. I have a short and a long form video, spoiler free, both of them, so definitely go check that out. I'll leave that in the description below and in end cards. But what did I think of Dune Part 2 in the 40X movie theater experience? So I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I think it is the most intense and wildest 40X experience I have had. The Batmobile scene in the Batman was so intense in 40X. Up until now, it was probably my favorite scene I've ever seen in 40X. But Dune Part 2, when Paul learns how to ride the worm, that like takes the cake. That is the most intense, crazy, balls to the walls action, wildest seat movements I've ever experienced in the 40X format. It was insane. You felt like you had to hold on. I was holding on to my drink. There were times where I had to situate myself in the seat to make sure I stayed in the seat. It was like roller coaster levels intense at times. And depending on what roller coaster you go on, I do actually mean that. It probably is much harder to ride the actual worm if this existed, but they got you there. They made it feel authentic to what it might be like to ride a worm, because it really did feel like you were riding on something, going through the desert, bumping around and everything. It was throwing you this way, that way. I'm kind of over-exaggerating, but I'm kind of not. This is by far the most intense scene that I've ever felt in the 40X format. And any worms riding scene in this film is intense, but the thing is, they're a little shorter. This one was Paul trying to get the hang of it, and the seat movements everywhere else were on point too. Like the fighting, if a character gets hit in the back or thrown and they hit their back, you'll feel a massager in your back hitting you as if you're landing on something. Obviously not as realistic. You're not getting hurt. The puffs of air at your neck and ears, I felt that a lot, especially when guns were shooting at people. You felt stuff at your ankles. I would really recall this scene. A couple characters are getting shot at, kind of at the feet, at the ankles, and you kept feeling it in your feet, in your ankles, from the seat movements and the seat capabilities. They paid special attention to when they were flying too, and there's a part when characters have to maneuver the ships that way, and you're kind of leaning into it, and it feels like you are turning with them and straightening out with them. And then there's a time when a character kind of gets thrown off the ship but holds on to like the outside of the ship while it's flying. You feel that as well. I thought that was very well done. There's a couple uses of water, but especially with the vermin stuff and in the desert, there's not going to be much water anyway, but there were a couple uses. And the fog was used several times, like anytime a worm was having to ascend or descend into sand, anything collapsed or exploded and landed and the sand blew up like smoke or anything, that's when fog would come up, and it was used very well. It didn't overstay its welcome. Lights were used. I definitely noticed some of the flashing lights. There was something like fireworks that are going off. You could feel it in your seat, your seat just jolting a little bit, but you could see the lights flashing. You felt the wind all different times in this movie, because there's a lot of outdoor scenes, flying scenes, the riding on the sandworm. The air is going everywhere in the auditorium, and it feels good. It really helps, because I remember, especially a scene, the sand kind of encapsulated a group of people, and then wind picked up, and their flag was blowing, and we felt the wind blowing at us, and it really immersed you into that scene in any scene that it's used. So again, with the smells, there is a smell. It's one smell in my auditorium, but I know other people have other smells, because I didn't get it, but I did see Wonka in 40X. Some people did get chocolate smell in 40X. It's gonna vary on your auditorium. The new 40X that just opened is the biggest one in the world. It opened in Times Square, New York City. I definitely want to go at some point, but it has way more capabilities in this everything. So do I think it's worth it though? So first of all, let me say, see this in theaters. Even if you didn't like the first Dune, I think you might like this one better. But it also has that deep lore and that deep world building as well. This one has a lot more action. That's why it's an even better experience in 40X than Dune Part 1, which was also fun and a really good experience. So definitely go see it in theaters. If you see it in 40X, RPX, ScreenX, IMAX, Dolby, Standard, any of them, go see this movie in theaters, especially if you're a sci-fi fan, a Dune fan. I definitely recommend it. It's such a fun time. It's crazy, wild, almost too much. If you want to experience that in 40X, this is the movie to do it. So I 100% recommend Dune Part 2 if any of this sounded interesting. If you have not tried 40X, this is going to be an intense one, I think, especially those worm riding scenes. But if you have tried 40X and you love it, I definitely recommend checking Dune 2 out in this format. I definitely think it's worth the extra money. It's one of the best 40X experiences, if not the best best 4DX experience I've ever had. It helps that I love the movie. Comment down below, what did you think of Dune Part 2 in general? Did you see it in 4DX? Let me know if it was as crazy for you as it was for me. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of the support. If you liked what you've seen here and you want to see some more content from me, please click around here to see some other content from me. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the movie fans in your life. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, make me your 4DX guy, and come to the upside, Dan.